Sorry, I'm a little bit late getting started tonight. I got it together though. So my wingman Dustin, he is excused for tonight. That guy has been burning the candle at both ends, so he's taking a break for the evening. So this might be a little bit of a shorter Steph Lucas live, but no matter. It is Steph Lucas. It is live. That's the main thing, right? So we are going to go over. Well, you thought the Idaho Senate was a dumpster fire. That was the theme for last week. Looks like the House is not doing much better. So, what we're going to be talking about today is what happened on the legislative floor yesterday. Essentially, Representative Ron Nate wanted to get House Bill 448 pulled out of the Ways and Means Committee so it could at least have a hearing, right? That didn't go the way he planned, but at least he tried. And the majority of Republicans in the legislature tried to stop that bill, House Bill 448, from being heard. What was it about? Grocery tax. We're going to talk about that and an effective and positive event that happened for the Idaho Freedom Foundation on Monday with Corey DeAngelis. It's all coming up on Steph Lucas Live. There you go. I did that all by myself. All right. So, welcome back to Steph Lucas Live. What are we talking about today? As I said in my little preview spiel there, we are talking about what happened in the Idaho legislature yesterday. Now, I have a clip to play this. The thing is, the clip lasts about 6 minutes, and I apologize in advance for not having that broken down for you in little chunks. But what's happening is we're just going to go ahead and play the thing with Representative Ron Nate and then discuss after it happens. But let me give you a little bit of a synopsis, and I hope I get this correct. I've had several different people explain it to me, and I put all those explanations together. And I think what we have is, of course, grocery tax, hot topic here in Idaho, at least if you're a conservative. If you're not a conservative, for some reason, the people in your district mysteriously do not care about grocery tax. That's what several representatives said. Odd. It's like there's this big donut around Ada County, and they just don't care about grocery tax. So strange. Does that sound right to you? Didn't sound right to me. But we'll talk about that another time. What I would like to talk about is Representative Ron Nate. He's over from my half of the state, District 34, and he's been very vocal about the need to get the Idaho grocery tax repealed. Guess what? Even the Democrats want the grocery tax repealed. So you'd think, oh, well, hey, now we're talking. Well, it's up to just a chosen few in the Idaho House to actually keep this bill from being spoken about. Now, of course, it's also up to the Senate. We went over everything with Christy Zitto last week in the Idaho Senate and how she tried to get an amendment put on to the income tax relief bill about getting the grocery tax repealed. Senate Republicans freaked out. We went over all that on the show last week. So that's that synopsis. Now the Idaho House is in on it. So Representative Ron Nate decides he is going to discuss House Bill 448 in two parts. Part one, he wants to talk about why aren't bills being heard in the Idaho House? Why is this? Well, I've gotten a lot of explanations, and essentially it comes down to this: leadership and committee chairs only let the bills that they want to be heard get heard, go forward. Otherwise, they get held in committee. That's it in a nutshell. So, Representative Ron Nate brings that up in his debate yesterday to get House Bill 448 about the repeal of the grocery tax at least heard in the legislature. That's part one of that. Part two comes along where he explains the benefits of having a grocery tax repeal. And I know I keep talking about this till I'm blue in the face, but here's the deal, kids. Idaho, out of all the states that still charge grocery tax, I think it's like 14, something like that. We're in the top three. We still charge 6% full sales tax for grocery tax. Even California has it figured out. They don't charge grocery tax, right? This is archaic, okay? How come we need grocery tax so bad? What's the secret? I don't know. I've never gotten a logical explanation from any legislator that is in favor of keeping the grocery tax. Not one. I mean, it runs the gamut from it pays for roads to it keeps grocery stores from overcharging you. Yes. I've heard that 3 or 4 different times, and I still need, like, a second to let that sink in. Like, really? All the grocery stores in Idaho are gonna get together and, like, fix prices? You really think that's gonna happen, huh? Okay. So, moving on from the weird explanations, I've gotten Ron Nate doesn't discuss the weird explanations for why we can't repeal it. He just says, number one, we should be allowed to have House Bill 448 heard. Number two, we need grocery tax repeal. And being that the man is a professor at economics, he does a way more eloquent job than I would. So again, this clip lasts about 6 minutes, but you have to pay attention to this, okay? Because Ronnie really lays it out there, right? And I'm not allowed to stop this clip in between, so just take it in. It lasts about 6 minutes. We'll break it down after that clip. Have a listen.
Gentleman for 34, for what purpose do you rise?
Mr. Speaker, Idahoans have been asking for grocery tax relief, property tax relief. I call for House Bill 448 from the Ways and Means Committee to the floor for consideration.
Gentleman from 4.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Ways and Means Committee be excused from reporting House Bill 448 forthwith.
Second from gentleman from 22. It's our debate.
Mr. Speaker, to debate the motion. The committee process in the House is broken in some ways. Many bills are drawered, put in chairman's drawers, not brought up for consideration. The representatives on those committees have their voice silenced and the voice of all their constituents silenced who don't get to vote on bills within the committee. It has been a frustration for a while. There have been complaints about the number of bills held in chairman's drawers. This year, there seems to be a little something different going on as well. Not only are bills held in drawers, but to avoid the count going up, it seems that more chairmen are refusing to even accept bills to be put in their drawers. House bills are submitted as personal bills, and they're sent to Ways and Means, like the bill we're talking about, sent to Ways and Means, where it is, by tradition, supposed to stay, and the committee chair just rose and asked for it to stay in committee. The process is eliminating the voice of Idahoans all across the state. They send their representatives here to bring up good legislation, to have it considered, to debate it in committee, to have the public testify on it in committee, to have committees vote on whether or not it should be sent to the floor, and then to have their representatives on the floor consider the same legislation. If the process is stopped before it even gets a bill number, or once it has a bill number, to not even be heard or voted on, heard by the public, voted on by representatives, we have stopped functioning as an effective representative republic here in Idaho. I say the process is broken. It's time for a little bit of a paradigm shift. I would say that there is nothing in the rules that says chairmen should or ought to or even have the power to hold bills. In the rules, in fact, it says the opposite. It says chairmen are to facilitate the work of the committee. That means the bills that come to the committee ought to be scheduled, heard, and voted on. But it's not happening. I'll give you 2 reasons to reject the motion by the good gentleman from District 4 to keep his motion to keep the bill in committee. 2 reasons to reject that motion and bring the bill up to the floor. Number 1, if you are frustrated by the process, if you think that we should be hearing bills instead of having them sit in chairman's drawers, we've been told that if you don't like chairman holding bills, there's processes for hearing it. You can call it up in committee, or you can call it to the floor. That's exactly what's happening here. It's being called to the floor, and the chairman's asking to hold it in committee. So we are exercising that process that we've been told is an alternative to the bills in drawers problem. So if you're frustrated by that process at all, here's an opportunity to change the tradition, change the paradigm, and start hearing bills instead of reporting to constituents that the process is broken and you can't do anything about it. Let's do something about it. The second reason reject the motion to keep it in committee is that this may be your only opportunity in the House of Representatives to vote on grocery tax repeal this session. The nature of the bill is important in this question. I've been asked by many constituents that they want tax relief, and income tax came in third. For some reason, that was the first one done. Now we're to grocery tax repeal. This could be your only option to vote to reject the motion to keep it in committee and instead bring it to the floor for a vote.
Mr. Speaker, I object. There's filming being conducted on the House floor, and I think that's generally against our rules.
There's what?
There's filming being conducted on the House floor.
On the House floor. That would be against the rules. Lady from 7. Okay, she's not filming. Please continue with your debate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've all felt the pinch at the grocery store. Inflation's out of control. Inflation hurts families twice. They pay more for groceries, and because there's a grocery tax, we pay more for grocery taxes. Government is benefiting from this. Families are being hurt. Grocery tax repeal gives immediate relief. We don't have to wait until our tax returns come in. The current system of pay the tax and get the credit is a clunky system. It's not fair. It doesn't do it in the right way. By the way, the bill keeps the grocery tax credit in place. Nobody is hurt by repealing the tax on groceries because they still enjoy the tax credit. In fact, it should just be called an income tax credit at that point. It's immediate, 136 million.
All right,
Excuse me.
we're going to debate the merits of bringing the bill from the committee, not the merits of the bill itself. So please
Understood, Mr. Speaker.
confine your remarks.
I'll wrap it up. If you think the process is broken or flawed in any way, here is your opportunity to suggest a paradigm shift. Let's vote against the motion to keep it in committee, bring it to the floor, especially on an issue so important as grocery tax repeal. Thank you.
There you have it. So a 6-minute clip, but this is extremely important for you to watch. This comes in two parts. This has Representative Ron Nate mainly arguing for what's wrong with the current process in the Idaho legislature. And I've just been hearing more and more about this. And you heard Representative Ron Nate there. It's even worse this year than it has been in years past. And the main problem is that there's so many bills that are not even debated on the floor, heard by the public. Legislators aren't even allowed to vote on. And the bill that he once brought forward is House Bill 448 to eliminate the grocery tax. So that's there two parts. And I believe that was Speaker Bedke there saying, hey, we're not debating whether or not we should have grocery tax, just the merits of the bill being brought forward. Point taken. But what's important is this isn't just about this grocery tax. This is about how just a few people, chairmen of legislative committees, get to make the decision over whether a bill is heard or not. That's it. I mean, it's almost like a playground. We like this person today, but not this person, right? Why can't you hear every bill? Why do all of them have to stay in committee? And this isn't some whack job pipe dream about the grocery tax. For heaven's sakes, this happened once before when Butch Otter was governor. Turn back to 2017, right? Our magical internet time machine. Long story short, grocery tax repeal was passed by the House and the Senate, was going to go to his desk. He said he was going to veto it. He waited a day too late. It went to the Supreme Court. That's neither here nor there. I mean, it is, because what Otter did was terrible, and what the Supreme Court did by giving this guy a mulligan was terrible. But let's get to the point that it was passed by the Idaho Senate and the legislature at one point. So this was heard before. Why are so many legislators against it? And when I say so many legislators are against it, what the legislators that are opposed to hearing the bill are about are, well, it's tradition that this is a personal bill, because Ron Nate was arguing in that clip that it's in the rules that the bills can be brought forward and heard if it's a personal bill. So you have Ron Nate in that 6-minute clip. And then, my apologies beforehand, but I'm afraid you're going to have to listen to Representative Greg Cheney explaining why he's not for this, and the whole, now see here, we've spent way too much time on this. So, oh, you're assuming for everyone that who's this we, Cheney? You have a mouse in your pocket, sir. I would like to hear the bill, but you know what they say when you assume. Let's get over to Cheney here and why he's objecting to hearing this bill. And then, oh, don't forget, Heather Scott makes an objection about a minute in. Greg gets testy, but Heather gets to say her piece. So listen for that about a minute or so in.
Gentleman from 10.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know that we're spending more time on this than any of us wanted to, but I just wanted to make a few comments about our responsibility to deal honestly with the public in relation to this motion. Those who introduce personal bills, myself included, do so conceding the bill will not get a hearing.
Object, Mr. Speaker. I object.
And I object to the constant interruption by those who don't like what's being said in a debate.
Stop. The lady from 1 has objected. State your objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. He doesn't know why people do what they do. He can maybe speak for himself on why he runs personal bills, but he has no idea why me or any other of the 15 or 20 personal bills are in there. He does not know our motives.
Right.
Speak for yourself.
There's absolutely no factual basis in my 8 years here that would support a presumption other than the fact that a personal bill will not be heard. So those who are here have the opportunity to view the same factual instances as the rest of us. To project a different expectation to the public is to pretend as though the goings-on here aren't as they are. We are moments away from filling up the board with green and red lights, and then that vote is going to be taken as a stand-in on the merits of the bill, which is going to be a lie. But it'll happen just as soon as the vote's taken. And I think that as a body, we have a responsibility to be honest with the public about how we comport ourselves that exceeds such a staged attempt to present
Mr. Speaker, I object. He's attributing motives to those who might disagree with his position.
All right. Your objection is heard by the body and by the gentleman, and he'll proceed with that in mind. Go ahead.
I will proceed with that in mind. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our personal bill opportunity is a courtesy to one another to present an idea that we can't quite get enough support around for a committee introduction. We should respect that fact in this vote, and respect the fact that the hard work on any of these personal bills to create enough of a consensus to even get an introduction has not been done. And so, Mr. Speaker, I would urge your aye vote.
Thanks, District 10. So that's Representative Greg Cheney saying this isn't about the merits of the bill. This is about the fact that it's a personal bill and it's not going to receive a hearing. My intel says, this is going to have to be clarified, but House Rule 17 should allow a legislator to request one of these dead bills to be debated on the House floor. So from what it looks like to me and Ron Nate's camp is that Representative Nate used Rule 17 to bring grocery tax repeal to the floor for a debate. So this is in the rules. And I spoke with Representative Carrie Hanks as well today. And she said, this is in the rules. He can do this. Now, Carrie Hanks was one of the few Republican legislators that voted to give this a hearing, to give it a shot, to give it a chance, to allow the public to hear it. But what you have are Republicans in leadership, including Greg Cheney there, saying that it's a personal bill, so it can't be debated at all. So, yes, you can look on several sites and find out there's about, by my count, maybe 20 legislators who voted against excusing this bill, 20 legislators who wanted to hear this, who were on Representative Ron Nate's side, and they weren't all just Republicans. Like I said, Democrats would like to talk about grocery tax repeal as well. So that's what you have. But I think what we have here You only have a limited number of committees, thank heaven, and then a few people in charge of those, and then the Speaker of the House, of course, he can determine which bills get public hearings and which bills go to the Waynes, sorry, I didn't, Wayne Hoffman's going to be like, don't you ever call it the Ways and Means Committee ever again. The Ways and Means Committee, to be ignored indefinitely. That's what happened with this grocery tax repeal bill. Why is it being sent to the Ways and Means Committee to be ignored? I don't know. I mean, you want my analysis? It's not that I don't know. I have my instincts. A lot of it would probably be Governor Brad Little in this re-election year does not want the eye taken off his leading Idaho proposal and historic income tax relief. Well, if that's historic, then we could do better, guys. I've said that before. But that's what's happening as far as, and I'm not saying just about grocery tax repeal. Yes, this is about grocery tax repeal, but it's so much deeper than that at this point. It is about whether or not your representatives can hear you and go to the legislature and say, this is what my constituents want. Is the Idaho legislature going to listen to you? Apparently not. We just have a few people in power that can determine whether a bill's heard or not. Committee chairs, Speaker of the House. That's what's known as an oligarchy when a few people are in power. And I wrote down a couple of quotes while I was listening to Ron Nate speak. He said, the process we have now with people in leadership deciding what bills are heard and what are not heard, this process is eliminating the voice of Idahoans all across the state, right? And if these bills aren't being heard by the public, I'm paraphrasing Representative Ron Nate, then we stopped functioning. Idaho has stopped functioning as a representative republic long ago. Something to think about while everyone is looking at the national events. And I'm telling you, we got to look right here in our own backyard. I texted Dustin today after what I saw yesterday, and I said, the headlines, the Idaho legislators writing headlines. I don't even have to dig. This is incredible. So this is what happened, and don't let your representatives get away with saying, well, we're following the process the founders gave us. No, they're not. The founders wrote this so you would be able to tell your representatives what you would like to have happen as far as laws and not laws and repealing certain laws like grocery tax. And as it stands, we don't have that right now. That's the issue. So that is the legislative update. As far as the Idaho Freedom Foundation, we have some really great news this week. And this was great. I wish I could have been in Boise for this, but it's okay. I watched it. It's terrific anyway. After everything that happened last week with groups trying to cancel Corey DeAngelis, expert extraordinaire on school choice, coming to speak for the Idaho Freedom Foundation at an event they sponsored. Well, there was a lot of people trying to cancel. It didn't happen. Cancellation did not go forward as hard as what Dustin Hirsch has told me is the Idaho 97%. Like I said before, they say they're 97% of Idahoans. Like Cheney, very bold to assume, sir. You assume a lot. Cheney assumed we'd spent way too much time on this bill and these goings on here. He literally said these goings on. It was like I was in some old-timey movie from the 1900s. These goings on, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Cheney, everyone. Anyway, I hate being talked down to, right? These goings on. Where was I? Yes, these goings on, Idaho 97%. People assume a lot. They assume 97% of Idahoans are with them. Bold of you to assume. Lots of assumptions going on these days. So the Idaho 97% tries to cancel this event. They had their little minions, I suppose, go out and reserve tickets for this event. With Corey DeAngelis, so no one else would be allowed to have tickets or go in. Very selfish. And it didn't work. Not only did Corey DeAngelis smack down the Idaho 7% founder, 97% founder on Twitter, and I'm like, dude, Sats, I don't know much about you, man, but don't ever go up against a conservative with 87,000 followers. That will not bode well for you, sir. Will not. There's a reason he's on Twitter. It's because he's sharp. and he's not going to deal with the likes of you and just lay down for your abuse. So that happened. And then on top of it all, we had this great bit from Dustin. I want to play this. This is funny. At the beginning of the, oh, let me back up before I play the clip. I almost forgot. So what happens after the Twitter beatdown is the Idaho statesman, like my mother says, will wonders never cease? They don't. The Idaho statesman, in a very backhanded, okay, we'll concede, and you have a point type of way, as the Idaho statesman is wont to do, I suppose, said that they supported the Idaho Freedom Foundation's right to bring Corey DeAngelis to Boise and not have him canceled. What happened with the cancellation is the Basque Center in Boise, where the Idaho Freedom Foundation originally wanted Corey DeAngelis to speak, had to cancel the event. And no harm, no foul. On the Basque Center, they were worried about really the physical safety of the building. They said they'd received threats from people with, how dare you host an Idaho Freedom Foundation event, and Corey DeAngelis, how dare you want an open forum, sir? These goings on. Dustin's not here to make me laugh, so I'm just going to talk to myself and mumble things like these goings on, because that was hilarious, Cheney. I'm going to get so much mileage out of that. Where were we? The Basque Center. Yes. So they had to cancel. Understood. But in the meantime, church stepped forward, and the event with Corey DeAngelis was able to be hosted there. And then the Idaho statesman gets in on it and says, essentially, they support the Idaho Freedom Foundation's right to have a debate. And of course, they went about it with a really backhanded, we don't appreciate you saying people should have school choice. Like, okay, thank you. However, like I said, well, wonders never cease. Idaho statesman in on that. And the event went off without a hitch. It was great. And here we have Dustin commenting on the Idaho 97% live feed the night of the show. Here's that clip with Dustin Hurst.
If you know this, some of you do. Mike Satz is the leader of the Idaho 97%. The Idaho 97%, a fringe left extreme group in Boise, spent the last week trying to get this event canceled. Like they could cancel us. So Niklas is my research assistant backstage. I'm going to show you live footage. I hacked into 97% headquarters tonight, and I'm going to show you live footage of Mike Satz during this rally. Niklas, tap into the feed, please. It says it all, guys. He's been like this for a week.
That's so good. So that was the intro Dustin Hurst had at the event with Corey DeAngelis and I wish I could remember the name of the church. But thank you, church, for stepping forward. We'll give you a shout out next time, of course. And Dustin said, excellent facility. Everything went well. Corey DeAngelis was fantastic. And on Friday, we will have some clips for you of the Corey DeAngelis event. I'm hoping I can talk with Anna Miller. She's got a lot coming out about education in Idaho. That's going to be another huge topic coming up besides grocery tax repeal. And it's not even about grocery tax repeal at this point, guys. It's just about letting your voice be heard in the legislature. Right now, we have just a few people in charge, and they're not hearing us, the people of Idaho. So we'll keep you apprised of that situation. And of course, on a positive note, everything went off without a hitch at the Corey DeAngelis event. Great guy, fun guy. We'll show you some pictures and some clips of that. And it's tomorrow, Thursday. They say things slow down on Thursdays and Friday in the Idaho legislature. But after last week and this week, I'm not quite so sure. Not closing my eyes for a second. I'm going to be here giving you all the details. And if you do want some information on more bills going on in the Idaho legislature, just check out the Idaho Freedom Foundation's Twitter page. And they have pretty much all the bills that are going through the Senate, the House right now. And you could just kind of look at those and get the gist of what they are and exactly what they would mean for Idaho. So do that if you miss me in the meantime. I don't think you will, though. I know the Idaho's 97% will not, but I will not be crying about that, as per Mike Satz in the live video feed. introduced by Dustin Hurst. So great joining with you guys tonight. Thanks for joining for the update, and I will be back on Friday. Great to have you here, and I'm sure we'll have some more contests and other fun stuff going on. So thanks for joining, and I'm going to figure out without Dustin how to turn this off all by myself. My first time running this completely on my own with clips. Good job, Steph. Oh, there's the button. Thanks, guys. I know you're praying for me. I appreciate that. Dustin should be back on Friday to help me out. Have a great night.